What's up, guys? Jason up, New 80s Revolution, down here in the cave. It is Tuesday. That's right, we didn't do a video yesterday. I'm just pulling up my notes here, and I'm sad about that. I feel like the channel is really hitting a... So, obviously, and I think you guys should know this from the start. Obviously, me doing this channel for the last 6 or 7 years... It's not about any financial gain. I've told you before, for the first 6 years, first 5 years of the channel, well, that's not true. When the channel got monetized, it would bring in about $18 or $19 a month. And YouTube doesn't pay out until you reach $100. So it would take me sometimes 5-6 months to get $100 from YouTube. Over the past several months, in fact, the past year or so since I've come back, the channel was averaging about $60 a month, $70 a month, $80 a month, $90 a month. It's climbing. I finally broke the $100 a month threshold, which means I can get paid monthly. So monthly, YouTube sends me 100 plus. So whatever the channel has generated, above 100, YouTube will send that. So if the channel is generated $187, it sends me $87. If it's generated 101, it sends me 101. If it's generated 99, it sends me nothing until the next month. So, everybody likes $150 or so coming into their bank account at the end of the month just for fun, especially Christmas. I take that right out, boom, head to the store. But also it goes to, I've been buying a lot of movies. Usually I'll just use the YouTube money. I've been buying a lot of plastic bags and framing them up and getting them on the wall. So any money that the channel makes, sorry, still working the congestion. Any money that the channel makes goes right back into the channel. So with that being said, the motivation to be down here to do daily videos has never been higher. But as I've been doing them, I've been realizing I need to do them. Not just to keep the channel above $100 a month, but to be down here. It's become, like yesterday when I didn't do a video, I felt off. I felt like I was going to come down and do it last night at like 11:30 at night. I just felt like I need to be down here. Not entirely for you, but, for me as well. So anyway, with that being said, Wrestling with the Past is up next. And I got to clear out this SD card. It's crazy. There's too much stuff on it. All right, let's do Wrestling with the Past. Here we go. January 18th, 1985. We've got a TNT episode, which is now Friday Night Titans, and it's 1 hour, as opposed to Tuesday Night Titans at 2 hours. We've talked about that before. What I did notice, right in the opening credits, where they're just, they're just showing action shots. Sergeant Slaughter is still in the opening credits. Now, who cares? Well, I do, because that sort of thing wouldn't happen today. As soon as a guy leaves a territory or WWE or AEW, they're out of the montage. They're out of the opening credits, just like that. Sergeant Slaughter's been gone for a couple of months now, and he's still in the opening credits of TNT. These are just the things I notice. Here we go. We've got the recap of the Andre haircut, which they are really recapping a lot lately. Again, it's that slow build to WrestleMania 1. But they're doing it special today because in one of the most bizarre segments ever, Bobby Heenan is showcasing his barber skills today on TNT, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. Bobby Heenan will be selecting an audience member at random to give them a haircut and show off his haircutting skills. Of course, flanked by Big John Studd and Ken Patera. So let's get started. We've got Studd, Patera, and Heenan as guests. Another little thing I've noticed, this is the first time that I've heard Big John Studd call Andre the Giant Andrea. which is just so dumb. But it's 1985, so it's okay. I mean, nothing insults a man more by having another man add a female, I don't know what I'm trying to say. Turn your male name into a female name. Paula, Andrea. Gets the blood boiling. So, what I love about TNT is that I can't think that these sit-downs are scripted at all. And so the wrestlers really buy into like the serious talk show format. And so basically you have three guys that are plotting the demise of Andre the Giant, but talking very seriously, right? Not like, Andre, I'm going to get you in the ring, I'm going to break you in half. It's not that. They're calculating their attack on Andre the Giant in a very serious, monotone way. It's just bizarre to see. It's like watching, like guys that are gonna like do an assassination attempt. It's like going and watching their meeting when they're like, okay, so if he's alone in the dressing room, we'll get him, we'll gang up on him like that. I mean, it's crazy. But I love it. And I think that's why I loved TNT as a kid, because it was such a unique side of the wrestlers. It was so subdued. I heard a lot of real talking voices on TNT as opposed to the screaming interview voices. One thing I've noticed about Bobby Heenan is he's unflappable. He's unshakable. He has comebacks and wit that is just unmatched in professional wrestling. Maybe Jim Cornette, I don't know. But, man, Bobby Heenan, you could not stump that guy. You couldn't stump him. All right, then we go to a very, very, very odd segment. We've got the cutting of the hair of an audience member who looks very bizarre on his own. Just a very strange-looking fella. Sits down in the chair, and at first, Patera, Stud, and Heenan are kind of just, combing out his hair or whatever. And, of course, there's lice jokes, and Bobby Heenan smacks a bug on his back. I mean, it's funny. And then it goes nuts. And it appears to be, again, just a total ad-lib, total improv, and it's hilarious. But then all three of them really go nuts on this poor guy, and they're just pouring shampoo all over his head, and they're rubbing it in his eyes, and Heenan is shaving the head with clippers. He's got a beard, and they're just ripping the beard off. At one point, Ken Patera starts shaving his eyebrows, and they're throwing powder on the poor guy, and the whole time McMahon is acting so grossed out. When they're pouring shampoo on him, McMahon is acting like they're pouring, buckets of bodily fluids all over. He goes, ah! Oh, God! It's shampoo, right? Big Man is losing his mind. They throw powder on. Oh! Powder! It's beautiful, McMahon. All right, so they do that. There we go. The guy gets totally butchered. Okay. Next segment, we've got Hillbilly Jim at home with Granny. I don't believe I've seen Hillbilly Jim wrestle, but stay tuned. We've got Hillbilly at home with Granny. He's showing his life on the farm, right? So he's in this cabin, and Granny's sitting there with this big dog, this big gross, like, I don't know, those bloodhounds, whatever they're called, with the red eyes, like the real droopy eyes and the ears. Just a dog that looks like they smell real bad, right? So Hillbilly's there, and he's kind of showing how he works out. He showed us how he worked out with Hogan. Now he's showing us how he works out at home, and he's lifting a tire or whatever he's doing he's got a tire in the kitchen that he's doing like curls with, and then he's got a mattress on the floor in the kitchen near the wood stove, and he's dropping elbows on the mattress on the floor, Ric Flair style, but not really, because Ric Flair was throwing himself around. Hillbilly's kind of like, really protecting himself as he's hitting this floor. And then he looks around and he says, "But what I really do is I grab this here dog," and he starts wrestling the dog, and he's trying to put the dog in like bear hug and stuff. And then Granny goes, "Yeah, what are you doing in there to that dog?" And Hillbilly's, So, okay. Then we've got Butcher Vashon back out. Butcher Vashon has been showcased more on TNT than anybody. But he's here tonight to recap his wedding, to talk about how the wedding is going. And so, of course, they show highlights of the Butcher Vashon wedding on TNT. And then a very straight interview, a very serious interview with Vince McMahon asking how it's going. And Butcher Vashon is just saying, not so great. It's not going well. The marriage is not going well. He's insinuating that they were going to take a trip for their honeymoon, but things happened or whatever, and they ended up honeymooning in Hoboken, New Jersey. And Butcher Vashon indicated that nothing naughty happened on the honeymoon. And Vince is saying, "Oh, well, and Alfred is, oh, that's terrible." And Vashon says, I don't know. Vashon's got a really, heavy Canadian accent. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with the marriage. And, and then McMahon says, "Well, is she home? What does she do when you go out to wrestle?" And Vashon says, "Well, I brought her to the last show. And then I went to look for her, and she wasn't there. I could not find her, and I think one of the guys said that they saw her run off with Captain Lou Albano. So I guess she's with him. I don't know. I have to wait till she comes home." And I'm sitting there. I'm sitting there as an adult, and I'm watching this going, what is this? What is this TNT deal? Right? Now, I loved it back then. Okay, and I love it now, but I think I love it for different reasons. I'm watching this going, Vince McMahon was, again, I've said this before, Vince McMahon started sports entertainment, goofy, over-the-top, cartoony stuff, so much earlier than I thought. Because I was a goofy, cartoony kid, so I didn't know any different. But wow, did he just toss the pro wrestling out the window, even in 1985, with this TNT stuff. It is just so weird. This is TNT. It's so bizarre. Then we got, then Jesse Ventura is the next guest. They're basically saying that Jesse Ventura has a new career, that he is now a broadcaster as well as a wrestler, even though his wrestling days are almost quite over. So now they're saying, okay, you're a broadcaster now. And so then they show a clip of primetime wrestling, of course, with him and Jack Reynolds. So they just show him at work doing his thing. And then we get an old clip of Jesse Ventura versus Steve Lombardi. And I've said this before, as I'm watching Jesse Ventura versus Steve Lombardi, I'm thinking to myself, Jesse Ventura is pretty awful. He's a pretty awful wrestler. And in real life, I think Jesse Ventura thinks that he was way more important as a wrestler than he actually was. Physique is awful. I don't know where the body thing came from. And he's a bad wrestler. He is a bad wrestler. He kind of reminds me of like Ox Baker. If you ever really go back, into some territory stuff and watch Ox Baker, that's Jesse. Just kind of bad in the ring. Much more influential as an announcer, in my opinion. Those are not children this time. Those are dogs up there. We've got to close the show, we've got a very funny interaction between Lord Alfred Hayes and Jesse Ventura. I always thought that Jesse wore an earring in his chin dimple, but it was actually like a sticker, and then he would put some makeup around it. So Lord Alfred Hayes is like, "Oh, what is that on your chin?" And Jesse says, "Well, that's makeup." And Hayes is like, "I think you look ridiculous." So then Jesse goes, "I think your accent is ridiculous." And these two guys are like, and Hayes is just looking at him, and Jesse's looking at Hayes, and they're really just staring each other down. And then Jesse turns to McMahon and goes, "I think you're going to need a new co-host, McMahon." And I'm just cracking up. So now when I watch these, I'm really just going to watch them, obviously through adult eyes, and just look for the humor and the cracks in kayfabe, and I think Jesse was holding back a smile when he said, "I think your accent's ridiculous." Oh, TNT, we love thee. All right. He also does keep calling Vince McMahon Jack McMahon, which I love. I just love that. Jack. And then McMahon's like, "Oh, it's Vince. All right, let's go. Maple Leaf Wrestling 1/19/85. So the very next day, Saturday. Here we go. I got to get through this quickly. Goldie Rogers and Terry Gibbs take on the U.S. Express. We still have Jesse Ventura and commentary. Love it. Love it. They have not fooled me. It wasn't a ruse. They did not bring back Angelo Mosca. U.S. Express looked a little bit better in this match. I've been struggling to really like them as much as I liked them as a kid, or as much as I thought I liked them. But they were better. Barry Windham wins with the Bulldog. Jesse is talking way more than Jack Reynolds. Jesse's almost carrying the show, which is good. We finally got an update about Piper attacking Cyndi Lauper and Lou Albano. They were keeping this quiet for a while. In fact, they would say things like, "We were going to show you a clip of what happened, but due to, legal blah, blah, blahs, we just can't. We'll show it next week." And they would do that for like 3 or 4 weeks. I mean, this happened a while ago. So that we get an update. They show what happened in Madison Square Garden. Again, maybe setting up WrestleMania. They show some backstage stuff at MSG with Mean Gene. David Wolf is on a stretcher. Cyndi Lauper's crying, and Mean Gene is trying to play it seriously. Now, in that, David Wolf got body slammed. That's it. He got body slammed, and so but they have to take him to the hospital. He's little old Dave Wolf. All right. We got Carl Fury taking on Jimmy Snuka, who we haven't seen. I believe this is the period of time where he's in and out of rehabs. Fury is dominating the match, with a headlock for a while back, and then dominates with some punches and really works over Snuka. And then, of course, we go for the we have the absolutely must-have, totally necessary Fijian cranium bit. With Jesse is criticizing Carl Fury for having Snuka in a headlock so long because the Fijian head is so hard, and that's an ineffective move. And of course, it gets proven when Fury tries to hit Snuka's head into the turnbuckle. Snuka just turns around. "Oh, no, you don't touch my head. It's too hard." And then backbreaker, splash for the win. Okay. But, of course, we have the head bit. We have to have the hard head. What else? Oh, station break. Any of you Canadian folks, the station break was for WXNE 25. Is that one of your channels? WXNE 25 was airing Maple Leaf Wrestling. We've got an interview with Nikolai Volkov. Again, no mentioning of being, promoting any Canadian house shows. I don't know if WWF and Maple Leaf were detaching at this point. I don't know. But as you can see, this Nikolai Volkov t-shirt, I bet that is a handwritten t-shirt. That USSR looks like magic marker to me. And the handwriting is weird. So anyway, little things I noticed. Don Morocco versus Mario Mancini. We've got a very aggressive Morocco managed by Mr. Fuji. His tombstone pile driver wins it. And I love at the time they don't obviously call it a tombstone pile driver. So Jesse is trying to tell us what it is. And he's saying, it looks like a reverse, what do you say? It's a double shoulder breaker, a reverse pile driver combo. Love that. Love the simplicity of the moves. No reason to call it a tombstone, right? Who cares? Angelo Mosca Jr. versus Frank Marconi. Mosca wins with a flying head scissors that he awkwardly rolled into a pin. I hate the Moscas, you know that. Only 6 botches I counted in this match, as opposed to 46 in Mosca's debut. Hillbilly Jim is here. Hillbilly Jim, I believe this is my first Hillbilly Jim match. He takes on AJ Petruzzi. And Hillbilly Jim spends a few minutes waving to the crowd. Lots of beard grabbing in the beginning. Both guys grabbing each other's beards. 4 lockups in a row resulted in beard grabbing. Very odd. Hillbilly wins it with the bear hug and then is concerned about AJ, that he hurt him. Okay, what do we got? 4 minutes. All right. Richard Cummings teams up with Ted Grizzly to take on JYD and Andre the Giant. What on earth is that all about? Now, the most interesting part of this match was that Richard Cummings was announced by the announcer as Dick Cummings. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Maple Leaf Wrestling, getting one in on you. Dick Cummings teaming up with Ted Grizzly, taking on JYD and Andre the Giant. I love that Maple Leaf Wrestling is the only wrestling that identifies Andre as Andre the French Giant. And also they have the graphic for him, Andre the French Giant. It's your usual Andre the Giant match. He does the spot that I love, where he backs the guy into the corner, and then holds onto the ropes, and then slams his butt into him. And then Dick Cummings comes to the rescue, but Andre reverses him and shoves him up against Grizzly, and does the double butt bump into the butt bump into Dick Cummings. That's all, guys. I got 2 minutes left on the SD card. That's wrestling with the past. I got to get this SD card situation figured out because I don't like talking this fast. But there we go. Dick Cummings, ladies and gentlemen. Good night now.